Hello, friends of the orchestra. My name is Emanuele Silvestri. I'm the principal cellist of the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. I hope to find you all well and in a good health. I'm very happy today that I can share with you my playlist. So now we are in Tel Aviv. We are opening to concerts, new concert activities, and I hope it will be for a long journey. But in the previous months, I had a lot of time for me to think and to feel how much the music was affecting my life. And since when I was kid, since when I was practically born, I would say. I come from a musical family in Italy, and I start playing the cello very soon in my childhood. So I can say that the music was always with me. I also had time to think about the how could be the future of the music, the classical music especially, and the music making, in relation of this pandemic, in this crisis that we are living now. And in perspective, how could be if this is not going to finish soon? So I had to find answers and I had to find comfort. And I found it in my music, in the music making, in my cultural background, in my education. I went back to the history of music. I tried to understand um, why we are at this point now as a musician, where we come from, what are our roots. So I try to combine all these consideration in this playlist that I want to show you now. So at the first place, with no hesitation, there is a Schumann Cello Concerto by Pablo Casals. This is a performance, a live performance from the 50s Festival of Prague, I think Ormandy conducting. So it is the first disc I got as a present from my parents when I was student in Italy, in Milano. Uh, this interpretation had a huge impact on my playing and also my way of seeing the music. First of all, the energy, first of all, the vitality and intensity, and the way of his connecting himself with the music. And you can imagine if you listen to the beginning, you can understand what I mean immediately. And lately, I read a biography of him, and I was caught by a phrase, by a statement he was used to repeat to his student. When you perform, you have to play frankly. What does it mean? It means that there is no time for show business or artificial tricks. Is the only truth, the only way of playing is respecting the composer, respecting honestly his message and your emotion, respecting your playing, and the composer. So this is probably the most valuable act of teaching that I received, and I carry with me, and I want to share with everyone. Then you can say that the interpretation is a little bit old-fashioned and is not anymore is not updated with modern cello standards, if you want, but I think is unsurpassed version, and musically there is a lot of to learn. Then I want to bring music from ancient times, from the Baroque. Is an album entirely performed by Jordi Savall. Jordi Savall is a viola da gamba player and a Baroque artist, I am sure you know, he's very famous. It's called Les Voix Humaines. I like very much the first track, is a prelude in D minor by Karl Abel, but the entire album is very representative for me. We don't perform a lot Baroque here at the Israel Philharmonic. I think it's a pity. I think this period is very important. I think it's a very rich period, full of innovation, full of creativity. Um, I think is also important for us because it represents our roots, it represents our foundation as a modern classical, Western classical musician. Um, I think it's also a very human period. That's why I also like this album by the title, Les Voix Humaines. I think human because the time was the music was intended as a tool for expressing emotions, was the main point. And I think it's very important to consider this, especially today, where I have the feeling that sometimes the music industries or the market of music is a little bit too dominant. So I like this philosophy of music very much, and I think it's human also because the connect is the way of connecting yourself with your inside, with your human being completely. And also don't forget that this period represents everything you know about music, at least in the modern times. Look, the instruments were built there, our cellos and violins and double bass, they were created in this period. It's a long period. It's a period like probably around 150 years. If you consider from the end of the Renaissance till the late Baroque and Classic, many musical forms were created in this period. I can mention the sonata. You can remember Scarlatti, for example, evolving the sonata. Concertos in Italy, opera, of course, also in Italy. Lately, in the late Baroque, the Sinfonia developed by the German in Mannheim. So it's very, and then Bach and the temporal system. So the harmony of all the next centuries, maybe till the Viennese school, but our harmony, the harmony that where we listen to music, we feel at home, the harmony is moving the steps in this period. So I think it's very important for us as a musician, and because it builds our music sensibility, I think. That's why I want to suggest another music from the same period, but from England, from Henry Purcell, the composer. The music is the opera Dido and Aeneas. I'm sure you know the opera. It's very famous, the Lament of Dido, obviously, one of the most beautiful pages ever written. Very influential opera in the history of music for many reasons. But I think what I want to suggest today is this adaptation for music and contemporary ballet by the choreographer American Mark Morris. I think it's very interesting to combine two different styles, two different epochs, two different ages of art, ancient music and contemporary ballet. I think this is it opens ideas for us to present music in different ways, combining and inviting different art forms. After that, I have a suggestion from my wife, Rachel. It's a song by Tom Waits, Lie to Me. Tom Waits is an American songwriter, famous, I'm sure you know also. I think his ability is to paint and to describe this complex psychological situation, or if you want some human dynamics, human social situations, by a very simple text, a very simple picture in the text. And the interesting part is understanding it and reading between the lines. So, and the voice is very special too, so I like it. I hope you enjoy also. Last, I have a suggestion from my daughters. My daughters are 4 and 6 years old. So it's a soundtrack from the movies Pirates of the Caribbean. The soundtrack is by Hans Zimmer. And first of all, I think it's a great music. I think it's a great movie also. And reminds me a very important period for me when I was working in Rome, in the Accademia di Santa Cecilia Orchestra. We were used to play all the soundtracks of the major Hollywood movies and also Italian movies. And in the open air cavea, in the amphitheater of the Renzo Piano Auditorium. And I remember huge crowds every time listening to this music. I think this music has something very direct also. And also I like to remember Zubin Mehta himself conducting Hans Zimmer's Pirates of the Caribbean in a concert we had in Los Angeles a few years ago. I had just in front of my eyes he's conducting this Pirate of the Caribbean music. We're very excited, and so I think it is the message of Hans Zimmer is very, very, very direct. So this is my playlist. I hope you find it interesting, and hopefully you will enjoy listening to the music. I want to thank you personally for all the support and help you give to my orchestra. And yes, I think we can see positively to the future of the music if we don't forget where we come from, and if we don't forget what kind of rich and important heritage we are carrying as musicians. I think we need to be open-minded always, and also be able to innovate our way of doing music. I think it will be fine as far as we don't stop bringing meaningful programs, meaningful contents to the audience, and a very strong message that the music is probably the most important ingredient for a society, that an ingredient that let us grow more complete as a more complete human being. I think this is what the music is all about, and I think this is the duty of us as a musician. So thank you again, and I hope to see you soon here in Tel Aviv or somewhere else. Hopefully when we'll be back on tour. Thank you. Bye.